Bunnie XO.
She was a Vegas girl.
Bunnie dropping truth.
Bunnie XO.
She changed my life. Dumb Blonde podcast. And Bunnie XO. Jelly Roll's wife, Bunnie XO. Miss Bunnie.
Bunnie XO.
Talk to me about Bunnie XO.
Bunnie.
Get two of the coolest tits.
Is this thing on? What's up, you sexy motherfuckers? Welcome to another episode of Dumb Blonde. Today, I have my girl Tanner Adell in the house, baby.
Yay. Hello.
Hi. I feel like this has been a long time coming.
For sure.
Like, we've been talking about this for, I think, like a year and a half.
It's been a while. Yeah.
So you were adopted as a child.
Yes.
Can you take us on that journey and like kind of through your childhood a little bit?
It is a very long and windy road as to how I ended up here.
Yeah.
But yes, I was adopted. I was a baby. I was like a day old. It was an agreement that my parents already knew that I was going to be born sometime soon, so they were ready for it. But I am adopted. I have 4 siblings who are also all adopted. I'm the middle child.
Are they all blood?
Yes, all of us are biracial. None of us are like blood related at all.
Oh, okay.
All from different families, but my parents couldn't have their own children. My mom had wanted to adopt for a really long time. She would say as a kid, like she always said, I want to adopt. Her little brother's adopted. And so she had always wanted to adopt. And then, she's very religious. I was also raised Mormon. I was adopted into a Mormon family. And so she always says she just feels like God was telling her when it was time to adopt. After she found out she wouldn't be able to have children. So I grew up in a really unique kind of household with just that little bit. But on top of all of that, I grew up kind of between 2 places. I kind of had 2 homes, and a lot of my friends in California had no idea that all of my family and my summer times were spent in Wyoming. Okay. So my mom grew up with horses and she did rodeo. She was a rodeo queen. And she would do a year of school in California in Santa Barbara and then a year of school in Wyoming, where my grandma's from and where my grandpa's from. And flip-flopped back and forth between school years as a kid. And she said that was really rough on her and didn't want it to be as intense for me and my siblings. So I grew up going from school year in California and all my like school friends to immediately going to Wyoming as soon as school was out, and kind of living a completely different life out there. It was, maybe around the time that I was 14 or 15 that I started realizing that I was very different from a lot of my friends, and I only had one friend that was adopted, and she was the same race as her parents. She was white, they were white. And I just realized there was a lot of things that I was kind of going through that I wasn't sure was totally normal.
Did you ever get to meet your biological parents?
So that's a whole... I'll tie that now into this whole of me getting here, I guess, too. Yeah. So as a teenager, I was very different from my mom and dad are. My mom wears the pants in my family, okay?
She's very alpha.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom wears the pants. And she is like Ralph Lauren. I am like Free People. Yeah. We could not be any more different.
Right.
She's very like by the book. I mean, she's extremely religious, and I wanted to just like not have to wear shoes to school and just wanted to sit on the beach and hang out with my friends and do, fashion design. My grandma taught me how to sew at a really young age, so I was sewing my clothes, and I was just more of a free spirit. So we really like bumped heads as I was growing up.
I grew up in an extremely religious household too.
Really?
We were Southern Pentecostal, and it was almost like a cult. And I mean, we had to wear like dresses down to the ankles, like up to the neck.
I did not know that about you.
Oh yeah, super religious. I went to private school and everything. How do you think I turned out the way I did? I mean, come on.
I mean,
but I'm
slay.
But I'm just saying I relate to that because I don't think a lot of people realize how traumatizing religion being pushed on you, especially as a child, is. That's what developed my anxiety as an adult is because I was told you're going to hell. If you act like this, you're going to hell, you know, and I couldn't imagine, you know, all of those things that you're going through as a child. You know, you were adopted, you're trying to find your place in this world and trying to fit in, and you don't feel like you fit in. And then you have that religious trauma on top of it. It's pretty heavy, dude.
And it's like I said, it wasn't till a little bit later that I realized it's a little bit different to be biracial and adopted, but then also into a Caucasian Mormon family, but also with 4 siblings who were also biracial but adopted. Like, it was such a and obviously I was a teenager, so all of this at once just made me feel so displaced. And that was the first time that I reached out to a birth family member, my birth father.
How did you find them? How were you able to find them?
I mean, I didn't have really any information about him until one year. It was my 16th birthday, and I got a present in the mail. I had been at like a summer camp or something, and my mom was like, "There's something on your bed, like someone sent you something." And I opened it, and there was a little bracelet in it, and it just said, like, "Been thinking about you, happy 16th birthday, like, love, Gilbert." And I was like, who is that? And kind of started, I mean, I ran outside, called my best friend, and I was like, I just got a weird package and a present, and I don't know, I think it's like someone from my birth family. And it wasn't just like freely talked about in our home.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
so your adoptive parents never really talked about your biological parents?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, my little siblings had a little bit of contact with their like birth families. But yeah, it was never really a conversation that I had. And although my gut kind of told me like, is this wrong? Like, or is this someone from my family? And I went back inside, and my mom was standing in the bedroom and was holding the note that had his name on it. And she was like, so we should talk. And I was like, oh okay.
Oh no. So she didn't know it was
She
from
didn't
him.
know.
Oh my
She just,
goodness.
probably like someone sent me a little gift or something. She didn't know. And that was the first time that I saw pictures of him. And
how did you feel?
I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Up until that time, you knew you were adopted, though?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Yes. Yeah.
But you had never seen your biological parents.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So I knew who my dad was, but I didn't know who my birth mom was yet.
Right.
And at this point, I was kind of just shoving it away because I'm like, I'm 16. Like, I'm not going to go out and try and find like my birth family, and I don't want to like open that nut. And
were you carrying kind of resentment for them because you felt like they abandoned you?
I always had, I mean, not in an angry way, but definitely in a sad way.
Yeah.
There were, like I said, me and my mom butt heads so much growing up that it was like, I would just, try to think about, who's my mom? I bet she, wouldn't be like this, or she would understand me more. And I saw, my friends their moms were their best friends. And I never really had that. And that as a teenager was really hard.
Yeah.
The little bit of information my adopted mom told me about my birth father was that they weren't together, and it was an affair that she had. She was married and had 2 kids with a man, and then had an affair, and had chosen to keep me, thank God. But that was all I really knew. So I had pictures of him, but I didn't have pictures of her yet.
When you first saw that picture of your dad, did you guys look alike? Did you like instantly like connect with it, like features? Because I know the first time I saw a picture of my real mom, I was like, oh my God, I studied her face for hours because I was just like, I have her cheekbones. Oh my God, I have her smile. I have her jawline, like it's crazy when you see a picture of your parent for the first time.
So the first time I saw a picture of him. I was like, I need to see a picture of my mom because I know I don't look like that.
Oh,
I know I don't look like that.
She's like, that is not my daddy. You are not the father. She's like, is this a joke? I love the honesty though.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of kids who go through this. You know, I personally, I'm listening to you talk and I'm like, yes. Like it's so relatable.
Yeah. I literally was like, that can't be my father. And kind of just, okay, now we know a little bit more and I think I'm good. I was 16, I was just a baby. So,
Right.
so a couple,
I'm sorry. This is so funny.
it's funny. A couple years later, I finally, and I'm giving you like the real deep. But
no, and I appreciate it too, because it really just humanizes you a lot.
totally. I searched for him on Facebook after a conversation I had with one of my adopted brothers and his wife. And we were just kind of talking about things. And he was like, oh yeah, when you were adopted, that was crazy. And I was like, what do you mean? And he started telling me all of these things that were like, whoa, I had no idea that my adoption had gone down like that. And it kind of set off a little bit of, curiosity and thinking, okay, well, we know what he looks like and I know his name now. Like I should just look him up. And it was me and my sister-in-law. And for some reason it felt taboo, like we weren't supposed to be doing it. And I think maybe a lot of adopted kids feel that way. You don't want to ask your parents questions or make them feel bad or like you're not grateful.
Which I feel like is kind of wrong. That like I feel like children should be able to be like, hey,
totally.
Let's have this open line of communication.
Totally.
Because I feel like when you keep like secrets or like make a kid feel like they have to be secretive, that's just extra pressure and added on trauma that we shouldn't have to with.
Yeah,
Consider some of the most successful brands like Aloe Yoga, Allbirds, and Skims. You likely recognize them for their standout products, innovative branding, and powerful marketing strategies. But what often goes unnoticed is the engine driving their success. The business infrastructure behind the scenes. What truly sets these brands apart isn't just their products. It's the seamless systems, tools, and technology that make selling more efficient. Take Shopify, for example. As the invisible backbone for millions of businesses, it enables entrepreneurs and established brands to streamline operations, process payments, manage inventory, and enhance the customer experience. Without this kind of infrastructure, scaling rapidly and delivering the seamless shopping experience consumers expect today would be nearly impossible. Success isn't just about the product. It's about the systems that make selling effortless. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/bunnie, Bunnie. All lowercase, go to shopify.com/bunnie to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/bunnie. The Great Rewards hunt is on. So join the hold on, let me start over. The Great Rewards hunt is on. So join the adventure with DraftKings Casino. For fun seekers, follow the trail to huge jackpots, weekly bonuses, and exclusive games. What the is that? After exclusive games. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. And exclusive games. But the excitement is only getting started because new players can get 500 casino spins on a featured game. Just sign up with code BUNNIE, BUNNIE, and wager a minimum of $5 to receive 500 casino spins on a featured game only on the most rewarding place to play, DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Connecticut and Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. Hold on, it's going so fast. Am I reading it too fast? New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for featured game only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/bunny. Promo ends 4/27/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, baby. Good? We knocked them out.
I wonder too, because I've met a lot more adopted people now, but I do wonder if just different families were different about how open they were.
I'm curious to that too. I wonder, are you guys
most of the people I've met, it was like kind of just I don't know, like an understanding, because it's not like there was any sort of incident where I brought it up and my mom like freaked out or something.
Right.
It was just like, oh, like I don't want to, I don't know, like make you feel bad that you had to adopt me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I a couple years after that incident, me and my sister-in-law were just giggling one night and, oh my God, well, a couple years ago he sent me a bracelet and I like know his name, and she's like, what? We have to look him up. And I was like, let's do it. Like, I don't care at this point. Let's do it. And we found him. I mean, he looked very similar to the picture, but I was like, I don't know. Like, there's obviously a lot of black guys on Facebook. Like, I don't know if this, I don't know if this is the right one. And
just like, hey, are you my dad?
no, I know. Like, how do you continue this? I sent him a friend request. Aww. And he immediately messaged me back, like immediately, and was like, I've been wanting to talk to you, but like I had an agreement with your parents that until you were 21, that like I couldn't come trying to find you. So there's like little things like that, but I never felt really compelled to like meet him, or, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, like you made me like great, like cool. Like, I'm glad that we like connected, and maybe when I'm a little older, I'll want to like see you in person or something. But there was nothing that ever felt like it was pulling me to. And then not much longer after that, just a couple years after that, I got an Ancestry DNA like email from a kit that I had taken a few years back. And it was an email that just said, hey, my name's Donnell. I think you're my sister. Like, I've been looking for you, and here's my number, and you don't have to reach out if you don't want to. And I had known previously, like I said, the only thing I knew was my birth mom had had an affair, and that she had been married and had 2 of her own kids. So I knew I had 2 half siblings.
That's still hurtful to know that kind of information too.
Oh yeah.
I'm really surprised, as private as your adopted mom was, that she revealed that to you, because I feel like that's more hurtful.
I know. Well, it was the only thing. I think not only thing, but they only knew so much. And I think my mom was definitely, because we were so different. Like, I was like, I'm going to run away child. You know what I mean? And I think she was always afraid of me trying to leave and go find my birth family because I might like it more with them type of thing, And I knew a little bit of that information, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. Like, my half brother, like I know he existed. Cool. He's reaching out to me. And I texted him immediately, and we got on the phone, probably 20 minutes after he had texted me, and he was just like, I have been looking for you, and I promised when I was like little as a kid that I would find you again, because he had known about me. He had known about me his whole life and my whole life. And I mean, it was a very cool experience to be able to meet someone who I was related to. And we were sending pictures back and forth of like our hands and our ears. Cause I was like, I have really small ears. Like, do you have really small ears? Like, and sending pictures where we have the same exact knees. And I was like, this is so cool to like, finally, after my whole life and especially being mixed, it's like, who do I look like?
Yeah. You just want to relate.
Yeah, exactly. And my whole life being like, I don't look like anyone and no one looks like me. Being able to have that connection. And so we were going through our family tree together, and Okay, there are these things on Ancestry. There's these
Every time she
things.
does that, I know it's going to be a funny story. Every time she pauses and giggles.
No, there's these things on. Well, I'm learning how to laugh about it. Every day I get closer and closer.
Listen, if we don't laugh, we'll cry.
Exactly.
So, I get it.
Exactly. So on Ancestry DNA, they have what's called centimorgans, and it basically tells you how related you are to a person. So like 600 centimorgans could be like a cousin, and then like 800 could be like your uncle, and 1,500 could be like a half sibling, and anything higher than 2,000 is like really high. So that's like a parent or a sibling. And we're looking at our centimorgans, and we're like pretty high up in centimorgans. Like maybe that's why we look so much alike. There must be like DNA overlap, and I don't know, something. And he goes, do you see on your family tree, do you see someone named, I'll just say his name is Bob. Like, do you see someone on your family tree named Bob right there, like as an uncle? And I was like, yeah, it's saying that that's my uncle. And he's like, that's my uncle. And I was like on like your mom's side, because we share a mom.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, that's my dad's brother. And I was like, well, it says he's my uncle, so how? And as we're looking at the centimorgans, they were like 3,000 something. And we realized that we were full biological siblings.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
That the guy who had sent me a bracelet that my mom had the affair with and everything, we think my birth mother must have already been pregnant with me when she had the affair, and thought that he had gotten her pregnant.
Oh.
But actually it was her legitimate child,
Oh.
and her full blood child to her children and her husband, and put me up for adoption and didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, it was huge. I can't even, that day I probably blacked out.
Yeah, that's
like
heavy.
it was a lot. And just, I had been told, little things here and there. And now it was like this whole like bucket of truth that I was like, whoa, I don't even know if I even want, to explore this more. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of freaking out. And the first thing he was like, I've got to tell our dad that you're his child, because he knew about me. The way that he had found out, like my birth mother from, and I learned this all after I'd met my actual birth family, but she had put me up for adoption while her husband, my birth dad, was.
Hey guys, if you want to hear the uncensored version of this, head over to our Patreon at dumbblondeunrated.com, where we have all the fun, all the unedited stuff, all the explicit stuff. Come on over. Goodbye.